We could be doing two at a time. Should we try that? Yeah. Well, if you could just...
What?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to use my capital to put air under the wings of this person. And if it was a young person or a social entrepreneur, they typically don't have any money. But the other side of that is that people who've got the money typically don't have any notion what to do with it.
Right.
So it's trying to bring these two things, the capacities of individuals, especially young people, together with the capital, which is, there's huge amounts of capital in the world, but it doesn't really know what to do with itself. Yeah. And on the other hand, you have, millions of people, young people, who have no job, no future, but they have many things they'd like to do. What I mean by open access credit is the credit, if I can demonstrate, if a young person or a social entrepreneur can demonstrate to me that they understand finance, they know how to work the numbers, and that this is the amount of money they need with great precision, and they will fly their plane and land it where they said, then the only question is, well, how come I've got the power to allocate it?
Yeah.
Right? I should just say, okay, I'll take this as my collateral, right? You just take the money.
For bankers, it's almost a new role for banking to take collateral in the form of a financial plan like that, instead of in the form of a car.
So the only real regulator of capital is it's linked to human capacities. That is the case anyway. And if you were to go back 30 years in banking, you had an expression, I'm lending to the man, not to the asset. Right? The asset is no use to me. You said you can achieve this, so here's some money. And the dynamic in there, actually receiving money, is hugely important dynamic. Yeah. And all that would drop out of it is the power that the banker has, and he only has the power because I'm not awake. As far as I'm concerned, banking is finished. What needs to happen is the banking world needs to split into a kind of glorified bookkeeping service, which I think it is anyway, but then it just takes its hands off the money flows and provides advice based on what it can perceive from the money flows. This is not far-fetched, because if you look at many online money systems, they're already not, well, they're self-banking, if you like.
Right, people to people.
People to people, yeah. and Zopa, and there are many schemes, and there are many schemes out there which kind of make the banks unnecessary because they're doing their own financial transactions.
I've been for job interviews and taken the CV, and they've pointed out gaps as to why weren't you doing anything here, and they want a constant record of employment. I still spend money. It hasn't made me try and hoard it all. No, not at all. If anything, it's probably made me spend more liberally because of the fact that if money's just kept circulating, then that's much more healthy than just trying to just get as much as you can. I suppose it's quite socialist, but I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want to save any money, have I? Of course I want to save some money, but I don't mind spending it And that's probably happened since I started working here, really. For example, like the coffee shop, just 2 shops up, is probably more expensive than Costa, but I'll go there now rather than going to Costa Coffee because it's local.
I've been watching Folkestone for quite a long time. It has this special thing going on with this rich businessman who's reinvesting heavily in Folkestone to try and bring the town up, to regenerate it using creative people. And I think that's a huge economic challenge. And I wanted to anyway have a museum of finance somewhere, and I thought, well, why not in Folkestone, and make that a kind of, a case in point. Can we bring up Folkestone? Does a finance museum help? And can we explain finance in a way which would actually help regeneration of Folkestone? Youth bonds is a kind of big concept, and it's the basic idea is that a municipality or a town or a city which has a lot of young people and they can't find their way in life. And the idea is the city offers bonds, issues bonds to the market, so it invites the markets to lend it money, say £1 million, and which it will on-lend to young people. And it guarantees this borrowing from the budget it has for the what I call the disaffected youth. And then on the side of the borrowing, the young people need to be financially literate, meaning they need to know how to do accounts, do their books, and know how much capital they need in order to start their little businesses or their big businesses. And the financial plan will have 2 components: the income expenditure account over a period of time, and a balance sheet over the same period. And the idea is you have a number of periods. I'll use 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be months, it could be years, but it's just 4 periods. And in each period, we need to imagine that we have our budgeted figures, and then we trade, and then we can put in our actual figures, and then we will know the difference. And then we can explain to ourselves the difference here. So then we have the various line items, the various types of income and expenditure, the various assets and liabilities of each period, making an image of ourselves of how we're going to trade and what we're going to do. This is then the budget. And then you trade at the end of each period. You can put in the actual figures, and then you know the difference between your proposed sales and what your actual sales, your planned expenditure and actual expenditure, and the changes on the balance sheet. And for each difference, you ought to be able to give an explanation, a reason why things didn't work out exactly as you imagined. And this is how you fly your plane. You use your financial plane to orientate yourself and navigate yourself to where you want to be. And now the crucial thing on top of all that is to know how much credit you need, to have working capital, and to know your break-even point. And this I illustrate with a Nike swoosh. Nike being victory over your circumstances. Here's your break-even point. Here's your working capital needs. And in this way, you become victorious over circumstances. Nike. So now we have an idea of accounting and financial planning, and now we're going to show how a group of entrepreneurs or businesses can use their own finances to develop mutual financial literacy. So here's one enterprise. Here's another, and another, and another, and they each then have their income expense account and their balance sheets, and they know how to do budgeting, financial planning, they understand accounting, and they also know the importance of
break even of working capital needs and of positive cash flow management. And now they can use their accounts to share their information with one another and learn about economics, finance, their own situations, and help one another to develop their own financial literacy mutually, peer-to-peer financial literacy.
Where do I lie in the future of the minimum wage?
That's a good question. In a way, I'm not hoping that you get something out of this. I'm trusting you will, but whether you want to go further with that is up to you. If you said you're interested, then take it from there.